is not increasing your ability to manage yourself, which is essential. It's important to have those things. But in the beginning, you don't think that's necessary. You think it's all about, show me how to get into a trade. How can I put a very small stop loss on and not get stopped out? How can I do that every day? And you wonder why all these jokers that can sell mentorships learn this in 5 minutes, how to have a 100% strike rate. That's bullshit. But suckers will buy into that all the time. Why? Because right now everything's painful. It's scary because things are so expensive. And it's going to be more expensive in 2025, and 2026, and 2027. No matter who, logically, and you can't focus because the stress is too high.
Check. How are we doing today? How's the mic? How's the volume? How's the sound? How we're doing today? 5-5? Alright, that sounds good. Alright, lovely people, we're back again. Monday and Friday, full trading week. We surely did have a nice week. Couple of W's, a loss, a break even. We'll break them down all in this stream. See what I took, so you can learn from it, and review what we thought at the beginning of the week, right, on Monday, and then review what we caught during the week. So let me catch up with you guys. Everybody calling me Johnny for some reason. Who is that? Who is Johnny? I don't know. Let's cook it. Yes. Mr. Robinson. Hello, I'm really struggling with daily bias. Alphas. I've got a pretty good video on daily bias on my YouTube. Have you watched that one already? Let me know. If not, make sure to watch that. Yeah, I have some internet issues, it seems. Are we still live? We're live? Are we good? Okay. Okay, hopefully it stays like this. I'm not sure why my internet is acting up right now, but hopefully it will remain stable. Okay, so man, it is because I'm in my office and I have Wi-Fi, and downstairs where I normally trade and everything, there I have cable internet, right? So the cable goes into my PC. Here I have to do it with Wi-Fi, so the Wi-Fi is not too good. I need to pull a cable in this room, not gonna lie. Okay, right. Who was here on Monday? Let me know. And what did we say on Monday, right? We wanted to see lower prices for the euro, right? Which happened, right? And then we had a midweek reversal on Wednesday. And hopefully you didn't stick with the bearish bias and you flipped bullish, because definitely the draw is into these highs, right? It's almost at draw on liquidity as well, right? So this shows that you don't have to stick with one bias for the entire week, right? You have to adjust to what market structure is telling you, what the time of the week is as well. And this is the thing I do. I trade in one direction until I get stopped out, because most of the time when I get stopped out, I'm wrong about bias, because my bias is almost always correct. And if I get stopped out, that's already an indication for me, okay, there's something happening that I probably need to flip my bias, right? So we have the monthly open here, right? Red line. And we traded below the monthly opening. So if this is actually the monthly low, which could be, right? Because there's a lot of upside here. We had this entire move down in the first week of the month, right? And then potentially create the lower wick of a monthly candle. So if we look at the monthly candle, right? I was still, until the market structure flipped, I was still looking for this low here, right? That was still possible in my opinion, but the moment, if I go to, let's see the 4 hour, right? The moment you trade through all these up close candles, which should not happen, and we should have just ran the high here and then dropped if we were bearish, and not leave breakaway gaps behind as well, right? Open fair value gaps and SMT on the lows, and it keeps displacing higher. So you cannot stay bearish if that happens, right? You have to flip your bias. And that's what we did after Wednesday. Looked for longs on Thursday, and today we caught EU longs, and I'm still in GU. This one almost stopped me out as well. If I go to this one, if I pull up the... We formed this OB here because we had SMT on the lows in this 1 hour effigy. So I took this. And this is the thing. I never put my stop loss like this. Now, who can say why is it not sensible to put your stop loss below this OB that formed, right? And rather I put it down here. Why is that? Somebody can answer that. That's a good case study, right? And I'm waiting for 2R, which is still up here, right? So it's a wider stop loss, but it should be above this high, so I should be good. But if you use a small stop loss like this, especially if it's a tiny order block body, right? A tiny down close body, and it still didn't fill in the POI, and you have to take into account that this is the range, right? The OB that formed could have been SMT and it didn't go to discount. But if it actually formed in discount, it would be a higher probability to put it on the low of the OB, right? But it didn't go to discount of this current range, right? That's why I put it all the way down here below mean threshold of the OB of the range. And that should not get violated in my opinion, right? That's why I put it. So waiting, I almost got stopped out here. So I was kind of sad because if you look at EURGBP, this was the reason why, right? This entire pump up here, this is the reason why GBP USD tanked. My internet's so slow. Sorry about that. Hopefully it will stay smooth with the internet. But this entire move down was only because EURGBP pumped up, right? So, and you can see on the euro, we just barely took out this low, right? We didn't make a big down move either. So yeah, definitely this was EURGBP being an absolute cock, right? You're cooking on GU, Lysram Robinson. That's nice. Me too. So I'm just waiting for this to hit targets. I also took EU, but I already closed it around here. There's still more upside, right? And there should be more upside next week as well. 4 hours definitely bullish. Daily is flipping bullish. Everything that's below here should not get revisited, in my opinion, right? So everything what is down here doesn't matter. And we're just gonna look for continuously looking for open, low, high, close daily candles, right? Do you trade on news days? Yes, of course. Yeah, news is really good because it is a volatility injection, right? But not on days with CPI, NFP, or FOMC, right? Somebody can't hear me. You guys can hear me, right? So I get Discord flashbacks because Discord sometimes gives these issues as well. But I think my sound should be fine. I can see my microphone picking up everything. Should be good. Yup. Okay. Good. Okay. Should I let me break down every? No, we'll just watch this a little bit when it starts to go above this high, right? See if this can actually do one more big push, and then I can close the trade and end up the week with. Let's see what we got this week. We got Tuesday. It was a win technically for a lot of people in the group, but I had a break even because I needed 5 more pips for 2R, and you guys know that risk to reward versus win rate is more important than anything, because that is actually how you determine when to take profit and everything, right? And that's what will make you profitable with risk management. So I couldn't close it, but that was a break even /W. Then we had I had one half risk loss on GU. It happened down here. It was kind of crappy price action. I got in at the best spot possible, and we had a news release on Wednesday, right? And it actually dropped pretty hard, but it just failed to take out all these lows. And then I just let it take my stop loss, which was up here, right? So there was a half risk loss because I went in half risk because the structure wasn't that high quality. So then I tend to do lower risk. Let's see what we got. We got another W on GU yesterday here, right? I gave out a draw for the highs here. I entered after the manipulation with news release, GBP interest rates, and then closed all the way up here, right? And then this is another trade I took today, which almost stopped me out, but it should be good. And I took a buy on GU or EU actually, like this. Was down here, I think, like this. Also with a little bit of a wider stop loss. Closed it at around 2R, which is over here. There was another W. The MMXM trader called the EU long. So that was also nice. Because I was asleep. Like I woke up 10 minutes later and then he already sent in the setup. Damn it. So can you show your EU position? I was scouting for EU longs in London, but I didn't find lower time frame entry. Yeah, this is the thing. Sometimes lower time frame sucks so much that I just prefer to use 1 hour levels. And trust me, a lot of traders I know who trade majors, if you use 1 hour levels, stop losses, and don't even bother with what's happening below the 1 hour, like the 15 minutes, you can use it to gauge if the intraday order flow is switching. But if you actually use 1 hour stop loss levels, it might be a little bit of a wider stop loss, but you're gonna save yourself so many losses. Because let's say I took lower time frame entry over here, right? I would have been stopped out 3 times in a row before I got moved, right? So I use 1 hour base stop loss levels, which in my opinion is the best way to trade Forex, honestly. Especially if you're looking for weekly expansion or daily expansion. Do you just trade these weeks as normal while there's no NFP because the US government shut down? Yeah, I just trade normal. Like today, there should have been NFP, but there was not NFP because of the shutdown. I just consider this as a regular trading day. And I prefer if there's a news release during the day if I'm trading, because I know there's volatility coming, right? And we need volatility, otherwise we'll get slow and lethargic price action like this. Even though there was news here, but it was hanging around and setting up for a reversal, right? So that's a lot of chop, a lot of liquidity purges. So that makes sense. But I highly prefer to have news when I'm trading. Yep. Except for CPI, FOMC, and NFP. I tend to avoid those days. CPI I can trade if I catch something in London and it still moves, then it's fine. I have to be up like minimum of 20 or 30 pips. I don't want to hold a CPI trade at break even. I'd rather close it. I don't think it's worth the risk. Slippage is real, right? Can you explain OB and breaker in recent price action? Yeah, sure. So, for example here, right, we have this up close candle which took out the swing high here and then it displays lower. So it should be a bearish order block, right? Because it hit a key level, took out sell side liquid or buy side liquidity and then displacement. So this level should hold if we're actually bearish, right? So that's the OB, and this one actually turned into a breaker once we closed above it, because it took out buy side and sell side, right? We took out the swing low and then it displays above it, right? So this is for me a valid area. I could also call it an area of mitigation, I guess, because that's where old selling happened right here. And that will be a new area for buying. And it also formed a down close candle in the same area and we closed above it. So should be an indication that we should move higher, right? What's your criteria to let the trade ride when you always TP at 2R? The only criteria if I let it ride is greed. Will I be greedy today or no, right? Because I know, like, if you can catch a 2R and it looks like it can run 10R, the amount of times I got stopped out break even is just not worth it. It's about consistent 2R, 3R trades with a high enough win rate and you should be fine. You don't need 10R trades, you don't need 20R trades. And if I see somebody post a 40R trade, you're fucking retarded. You don't do consistent 40R trades, because if you do 40R trades, you should be a fucking billionaire. It's crazy. But think about it. If you have 40R in one trade, you can lose 39 in a row and then you're break even. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. How many models do you trade? I mean, I trade time frame alignment model, which is on the YouTube, right? But I have some variations and I can just simply also read what intraday price action is doing. And I do prefer IFVGs if I'm trading without order pairing, right? But in the end, it all stems on order pairing because we take out some sort of range low and then we pair the orders of the low to the high, right? That is my preferred way of viewing price. But I do prefer IFVGs if I can find the sequence entry, right? The 15-minute, 1 hour, or the 1 hour, 4 hour sequence. Gold, any chance for rally higher? Price took order pairing low with SMT with gold euro instead of gold USD. I have no idea if that's valid SMT, by the way. First of all, let me see if gold is actually tradable. Right, so what you're basically doing here is trading inside of a consolidation, right? So if I go to the daily, this is not high quality price action. Yesterday was an inside bar as well. So whatever order pairing you're looking for is non-existent because you're in a high resistance. See, this is the daily time frame, by the way. So it's a consolidation, right? So you only look for order pairing sequences when... Listen, you need to follow this list, right? First and foremost, the most important thing is, can you determine a high probability daily candle going in one direction? There's no question about it is going either this way or that way. Only then you start looking for order pairing sequences and all that kind of stuff. Not inside of a consolidation, right? And it might work out because it, for some reason, it did the order pairing and then it went your way. This is not how it works at all. That's luck. You need to have a clear-cut daily candle. You can say, okay, this daily candle is 100%, in my opinion, gonna go bullish because it hit a higher time frame key level, for example. We have 4-hour market structure working with us. We have SMT on the lows. Right, we're in an expansion phase, not in a market cycle consolidation, which is this, right? So please, if you're using order pairing, don't trade consolidations. Thank you. So that's something I had to say, but yeah. Please do that. Please, or at least don't trade inside of consolidation ranges. Okay, let's look what Nasdaq is doing here. I know there are a bunch of Indices trader, but I'm not the guy for Indices, guys, for sure. Holy shit! Look at the drop. Yeah, so recap from Monday, right? Monday, I said the 4-hour structure looks absolutely terrible to trade, so I had no real conviction where price action would go, right? There were a bunch of highs here, which you can go back into Monday's live stream, right? As I like these highs as a draw, but there was no lower time frame confirmation, right? So basically there was no long setup present. But again, how the 4-hour was very hard to determine anyway. Very hard, so I didn't really have a bias here. And Nasdaq for me, this is like a weird creature. If I'm trading, I'm only trade EU and GU, right, guys? If I look at Nasdaq, I always second guess myself for some reason. I don't like the price action on Indices. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's just because it's a really good scalpers market or something. But I just can't, man. I just can't. I don't like it. So if I say anything about the Nasdaq or whatever or Indices, I'm not the guy. Although I have the draw right a lot of times if people ask for it, right? And sorry about the internet, by the way. I think it's acting up a little bit right now. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I struggle properly identifying breakers. I'm still looking for lower high, lower low, higher high. That's not always as clear to me, like that short you took on EU a while back. You mean the short I took early in the week? Let me see. Yeah, I took a short. I outlined this in the group, right? We had this area here, waited for this area to fail. Could have straight up sold this, the breaker, and a lot of my students did. And they caught 2R trades. And I actually waited for that to get mitigated. And I used the next range available. So if I break down that trade, right? Yeah, I literally shorted. Let's see. The wick here. The literal entry was the literal pip it touched here. But it failed to make 2R. I think 2R was... it has to be something like this. I think it was this, yeah. So this was my trade on Tuesday, right? Because we had a mitigation of the OB that failed, and there was a new 15-minute range formed, right? So I sold when it went into this fair value gap. But it just barely failed to fill my 2R, right? 5 pips-ish. So I couldn't really close here, and then it went all the way back here. Somehow it didn't take my break even, right? And then it dropped again, so I was like, okay, now we should be good. And then eventually it took me out break even over here, right? So that was the short, but the sequence here is that we have an OB, right? This is the thing. You got to be aware of time, right? Listen, this is very important. So write this down if you are not aware. This is very, very important. If Asia session takes out this liquidity pool already, right, and then starts to displace higher, it makes it more difficult or more dangerous, in my opinion, to look for more sell side, because this could also be a purge, right, and revert into displacement higher for this high, and then we're order pairing the high, right? That could be possible, right? So this range low, this range high, and there was a 4-hour fair value gap above it. So the thing that could have happened here is that we take out the low, we run above the high that's connected here, then hit the key level, and then drop, right? That is a very possible scenario, right? So the thing is that you wait until you see a bullish array get violated, and then you start looking for the next range available. That was very important in that trade setup. Been buffering for 5 minutes straight. I think it's good, right? It says my internet is fine right now. Hopefully, guys, you heard that analysis, because that's so super important, guys. Like, the way you have to always think about the entire context, what happened in the previous session, right? What liquidity is still available, and where is the trader most likely getting purged, right? That's very important to keep in mind. So if Asia did not take out this low here, we could have just simply sold the breaker or even order pair the high here, right? Because then we have liquidity intact and we're in bearish order flow. But because that didn't happen, I had to wait for violation, right? Otherwise, you get violated. We don't want to violate ourselves, right? No, sir. We don't want that. We wanna survive. We need to protect capital first and foremost. Most important rule: protect your capital, right? Thiagu, hi OTE, how are you? Happy to see you back, bro. Welcome, man. Welcome to the stream. I'm good. It's good to see you guys as well. What are you looking for? Gold, SMT? I would use silver. Those are correlated assets. But I don't trade commodities, so I'm going to say one thing. I'm extremely, if I say so myself, I'm extremely good in analyzing majors, and specifically EU and GU. And that's what I focus on, because if you listen, if you learn a craft, right, and somebody is making 10,000 wooden chairs, and he has made 10,000 wooden chairs instead of making a table, a chair, a fucking stool, or whatever, you know, that guy that makes 10,000 chairs is the best at making that chair, right? Or very, very good at making that chair. So I only focus on EU and GU. That makes me extremely good in knowing what is going on with this asset, right? So that's why with newer traders as well, I would just only focus on 1 or 2 assets at the maximum. And even for experienced traders who are profitable and making money, those people mostly focus on 1 or 2 assets as well. You can see that with the profitable Indices traders, right? Only focus on NASDAQ or ES. And I know a bunch of guys who only trade EU or GU, also profitable. You don't need, if EU is bad, the price action is bad or whatever, you don't need to switch to gold or, okay, now I'm going to trade oil, or now I'm going to trade gasoline or whatever, right? So make sure you focus on one thing and get really good at that one thing. That's how you stand out, right? Can I use 1 hour and 15 minutes? Can I use 1 hour and entry 50 minutes? Yes, of course, why not, right? But make sure you know that there's a high probability daily candle and you buy in discount and sell in premium. It sounds extremely simple, but it is very, very important. The basics is more important than any flashy whatever you use on the charts, right? Somebody has some flashy technique, and of course, everything works if you use the proper basics, which is premium and discount, market structure, and higher time frame draw and liquidity, right? You can use whatever. You can use a trend line entry if you want it, right? Let's say this is my trend line here, right? I could have bought here on the trend line, right? And then it would have worked because it's bullish. Right, so it doesn't matter. If something works for someone, that's fine. It's not the end all be all. It's not the holy grail. There is no holy grail. The holy grail is here, right? In yourself, in your mind. That's literally it. It's in your mind. You don't have to be highly intelligent to be a profitable trader. You do have to be emotionally stable. That's important. Do you predict which candle shape it will happen before planning a trade? if you mean I do that with a daily candle and 4-hour candle. You only need to predict what the next 4-hour candle is gonna do, or the next daily candle, and that's your trade setup. And then you start to look inside the lower time frame, and lower time frame for me is 15 minutes. I don't go lower than 15. There's no reason to look at the 1 minute or 5 minute on Forex. I don't think it's good at all. That's my opinion, of course. If there are Forex scalpers, hats off to you. I don't think it's sustainable. I think scalping should be done on futures with Nasdaq, for example, and not assets like Euro USD or gold or oil. That's my opinion. What to use for SMT with crude oil? You use gasoline futures. What do you think about Nasdaq? Is the MXM almost near bottom? Let's see what they're doing here with the Nasdaq. No, I think it's going for this low, most likely. Let me get rid of everything here. Make a clean slate. This looks like the draw right now. There's no level here where it should reject from, right? So it's most definitely, in my opinion, going for this low. I'm gonna be honest. Today I would expect this to drop, honestly, but I didn't expect it yesterday to drop. Because we had a bullish CRT here. Why isn't it working, man? We were in discount in a key level, in bullish order flow, and we had the bullish CRT. Why is it not working? And that's all jokes, of course, right? Because I don't really care for that. Do you use X model? No, I do not. I've not found a video on your and MXM user for SMT. Can you suggest more and can you explain? I'm pretty sure I have though. Like let me check quickly. I think I have a video on SMT. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Give me 1 second. I will try to find it. But I am pretty sure I do have a video on that. Search SMT. Oh wait, in my channel, not on YouTube itself. Wait. Okay, let me do it. I'm scared to do it on a PC because of the internet. I start looking on the PC. We might have some buffer issues. I don't want that. What do I search here? But I'm pretty sure I have one. I guess I don't. Then it's a private video. I'm pretty sure I made a video on SMT. But then it's in my old Discord. I had a Discord before I founded a Living of Charts with the MMXM trader. It was called OTE's Chart Lab, right? For the OGs who know. I'm pretty sure I made a video there on SMT. Maybe I should just publish it on YouTube then. It's an older video, but it should still hold its strength. Let me just check the Discord just to be sure. Study. Yes, I have a video on that. Is it public? Okay, I found it. But is it public? That's the question. Nope, it's not. That's why it's not a public video. It's 16 minutes long. Okay, I'm gonna review that video after the stream, and then I will see if I can release it or have to update it. Probably I prefer to update it, right? I don't like to put out old videos, but if it's still holding if it's still good enough, I can post it. Do you think DXY will head lower now in the higher time frame? Yes. Yes, this looks very probable, especially because we violated this last array here, right? So the initial draw for this week is this low, right? But we could go for these lows as well. So yes, that's a very possible scenario. Let's see what that looks like on the daily. Because there's no real daily levels where you could say, okay, this looks like a great area where we can do another push, right? If you look at the weekly. So this is what I talked about the last few weeks as well. That not on YouTube, because I only started streaming on YouTube this week, but we're basically looking for long since on DXY since we were here, since this closure here, right? So that's the last 4 weeks. Because we want to order pair the high here, right? That was the whole idea, because we ran the low here, and this is the high where we should order pair the sell stops down here, right? So if it does, if it's finished here, we wait for information, which is currently giving us, right? Because it's displacing lower and violating bullish arrays. So it doesn't want to push higher than it already did. So the order flow has flipped here, right? Not an issue. I got a bit of idea from TT's YouTube, but sorry to say I can connect with you and MMXM. I mean, you should find whoever resonates with you best, right? TT is really good as well. I like his YouTube. Very educational. But yeah, some people explain it different than others, and you should just find what resonates most with you, right? That's the most important part. Are you trading Nasdaq? No, I don't trade Nasdaq. No, not at all. But it should be dropping, right, to the low. Yeah, this low is the draw on liquidity over here. London always reversal? No, not always. Depends on the daily profile and what the market profile is, and what the market cycle is as well, what the previous session did. So you can't say London is always a reversal. That doesn't make sense. Can you review GJ? Let's see. What is GJ doing? Okay, let's go to the higher time frame. So on a monthly basis, I would say this is still bullish, based on that the first week of the month traded lower into this range, which is pretty balanced here. Look at the weekly. We still have this down close candle, which should be an OB. Right, this one. We swipe the lows here. This looks like a pretty good rejection. Let's look at the daily. Yeah, so a big confirmation would be if we form an IFG on the daily here, right? Then you could be looking for something like this, right? This looks like the most. That seems the most probable scenario. Yep, definitely. You have 1, 2, 3 drives lower. So the only thing that confirms, or that's an extra confirmation, is that we have an IFG on the daily. And then we should see a new weekly candle, a bullish weekly candle. Let's look at USD/JPY as well. I think this one is pretty bullish as well. Yeah, so even though the dollar is dropping, this one is not dropping that much, right? So I think the most likely scenario is that this is what's going to happen here. What information does EURGBP give you? I mean, it's relative strength, right? So, for example, today, let me show you this, right? I took GBP USD and Euro USD today, typically I only take the one I'm most certain of that's going to move the best, which then I use EURGBP, right? So what I was expecting on EURGBP, I was actually expecting, because this is the moment I started trading GU, this candle, when this candle was ongoing. So this looked like we want to do one more run on the low and then either drop into this level here or then a slight retracement. I was not expecting the massive pump that happened over here, right? And that's what you can see on GU, right? GU dropped over here all the way down while EU was going up. Like literally they were going the opposite direction, right? So I was sitting in this trade here because I was bearish on DXY. I thought GBP/USD would be the better long, which it ended up not being the better long, but I also took EU, so I split the risk between the two, right? But yeah, you can see the relative strength. That's what you use EURGBP for, right? So if you can have if you don't know the draw for EURGBP, let's give an example. Like the last couple of weeks, there was such a horrible range, right? When this happens over here, you don't have a clear direction, right? The safest thing you can do, right, is trade EUR/USD, even if EURGBP goes down inside of the consolidation, because you don't know if it will break out, yes or no, or it stays in an extended consolidation. So you always focus on EUR/USD, because if you trade DXY, right, DXY is, I think it's 50, where is it? What is it? 57? 57 or 56% euro, right? And then you have, I think from memory, it's like 15 or 20% is GBP, right? That's in the DXY basket. So you can see euro already has 3 times as much weighting. How do you say it correctly? Like the weight of the euro is a lot heavier in DXY, right? So if you're trading DXY, it's always better to trade the EUR/USD if you're not sure where EURGBP is going. So let's say this tanked, right? Euro would have still slightly gone up, but GBP/USD would have actually flown up really hard, right? But it was not on the right side of EURGBP, unfortunately. So I had to sit in drawdown for like the entire London session until it reversed during New York. So it should be a London swing to New York reversal profile, which means even into London close, which we have upcoming in 15 minutes. We have London close coming up, like the next 2 hours. It should still be in a continuation. I need a mentorship with you, Tom, Marcel. I mean, you can either join the exclusive Discord, right? Link is in the description for whoever is interested. And if you really want to have like one-on-one time, I guess you can PM me. I don't really do those, but I can make an exception, I guess. They're very time consuming, right? So would you long GU if EURGBP is bearish? I mean, not only if EURGBP is bearish, DXY has to be bearish as well. It's more important that DXY is bearish rather than EURGBP being bearish. Obviously, if EURGBP is bearish, GBP/USD can still move higher while Euro is going down. That is very possible, right? But you want to have DXY with you as well. That's also important. Can you look at GJ? I just did, right? I just explained we have to wait for the daily. Should go bullish. Right, so the ideal scenario is something like this. I think we're finally moving. I think I'm up 1 R right now after waiting for 10 years. My stop loss is like this, by the way, 28, I think. 21, and then it should be like this. Yeah. So it should be around 1 R right now. Wait, you waited the entire day for 1 R? Man, shut up. Nobody asked you anything, right? Nobody likes you, so shut up. Who is he even talking to? I have no idea. Yeah, so we're nearing into 1 R, right? That's around 1 R for me. Let me take a sip. Dry mouth. Nice that you split the risk instead of doubling up. Yeah, because protecting capital is way more important than over leveraging. Over leveraging kills your account like 100%. Does the MXM Trader part 1 and a personal approach is enough for NQ mastery? No, you have basic ICT understanding, and NQ mastery course is really really good for if you're scalping Nasdaq. It is not mine, guys. I'm the OTE trader. Damn it. I'm not the MMXM trader. Listen up. Go ask him the questions. Why don't long EU? I did long EU as well. Both of them. Is there a giveaway today? I have no giveaway today, guys. Sorry. Let's give. Monday we did a giveaway. I think I will do one giveaway a week. We'll do. I will give away money next week. What about that? I don't like to give away like prop firm challenges, so to say. Right? I'll just give the monetary value of a challenge. You have to have PayPal, please. I don't want to send. I don't have crypto. I don't send crypto. I don't use crypto. Please make sure you have PayPal. and if you're from somewhere that doesn't allow PayPal, well, bad luck. It's not convenient for me, right? I need PayPal. This is looking pretty good right now. Hopefully we can hit TP during the stream. That would be nice. Let me see if I can show the trade on camera. Let's see if the camera picks it up. Get my OBS, see if it. Probably it doesn't pick it up, or does it? Yeah, it does. So I almost got stuffed out, right? So we're up like 2.2k right now. Not bad for a day's work. When would you and why not go B right now? Yeah, you're right. I should go break even. But yeah, I'm just giga chat. I don't move my stop loss. I don't care. Oh yeah, I already explained the stop loss earlier in the stream if you weren't present here, right? But the reason I put it down here is because the body of the supposed OB I wanted to see hold is way too small. And if you have to take in account that this is the range, right? This is the range. And it formed in premium, right? So I, rightfully so, was kind of worried that we do one more drop before we go higher. That's why I don't put my stop loss like this on the OB like that. I put it on the OB, which is actually confirmed in the range, which is this down close candle, right? So I put it below the mean threshold because we shouldn't exceed that area, right? So that's why I put it below it. And price went actually into the mean threshold of the OB, and then it moved up, right? So that is the correct way of handling why you should put your stop loss either down there or below an order block. It formed in premium, so it wasn't that high quality, but sometimes you have SMT with premium and discount as well, right? So this might have not went into discount while EU does go into discount, and then we have a cracking correlation over there, right? And then it might have pushed up from the gap here, but that was the reason why I didn't put it on the low here. I have a problem. I don't want to use which anchor for the OTE. Sometimes I use the 5 minutes, sometimes I use the 50 minutes, and I don't know. I don't have the clear rule set for this. Can you help? Yeah. Stop using 15-minute and 5-minute ranges. Start using 1-hour ranges, right? And go from there, because the 1-hour ranges are way more visible, way more clear. And if you trade 15-minute ranges while you're, let's say you looked for a 5-minute bullish range, right? Let's say you were looking over here. Oh, I have a bullish range over here, right? I have a bullish range over here. So I can start to look for discount entry in this fair value gap. You're missing the complete picture, right? Because we're in premium of a hierarchy higher, which is the 1 hour, right? So we're in premium. So that range is not valid. So stop using lower time frame ranges and start working with 1 hour and 4 hour ranges. Trust me, it will improve consistency. At least it did for me. Okay, let me adjust my position on the MetaTrader. We can't have price drop again, right? That doesn't make sense. Should see displacement. And then Bob's your uncle. What do I think of Day's quarterly theory? I don't give opinions on other people's concepts. If it works for them, it works for them. What works for me is what I use, right? The only thing I say is people who hide their lot sizes, talk in riddles all the time, like they've cracked some code year after year. People who sell a course every 3 months, right? I don't know. I personally, I wouldn't trust it, right? Like, please, come on, man. Use your brain. Like, these people don't make money. Those, I'm not pointing at someone. I'm just saying those people who say they everything in a riddle and they have the secrets and they have the holy grail and have something crazy nobody's ever seen. Right. And that's what you want to expose to the world? No. It's a fucking marketing trick and still people fall for it. I don't know. I don't understand, right? If you wanna, I don't understand, man. Like, if you're talking riddles all the time, it's either sell the course and explain everything, and if it works, that's fine. But don't fucking be a riddle, like, are you a wizard, right? Standing at the corner somewhere, right? And then this guy speaks in riddles and I have to solve the riddle before I can continue my path, right? Just say whatever you have to say. So no, I don't have an opinion on whatever. If it works for them, it's fine. I don't use it. I use my own way of trading. I use ICT concepts. I didn't invent any concept. I use ICT concepts, just like all those other guys who are marketing that they found some holy grail. This all based on ICT concepts as well. They just try to rebrand it to sound interesting, and unfortunately, everybody falls for it, or a lot of people fall for it. And again, if it works, right, and somebody else can make it work, that's great. But we can't say it's not from ICT, right? It's always ICT concepts. But some people just don't want to admit that ICT created the concepts and they have to rebrand it. So always respect ICT, right? Always respect the inner circle trader. I'm unable to trade the 4-hour candle on the 3 on the 50-minute time frame in the MXM X model. Can you guide me on this? No, I cannot, because I haven't created the X model. I'm not the MMXM trader. I say this every stream. I'm not. Like, I'm bald, right? And he has hair, and that's a fact. I know that for a fact, right? But I'm not the MMXM trader, so if you have questions about his models, you should ask him. But it's kind of impossible because he doesn't live stream on YouTube. Do you trade funded or personal capital? I trade funded accounts. Yeah, I think it's safer, especially if you're already a profitable trader. It's the safer way, in my opinion. You just invest a smaller amount of money, and you can make a lot more money. And there's no downside. The only downside there is, let's say I paid 1K for a 200K account. I made 15K on that 200K account, and then one day I lose the account. I didn't lose the 200K. I lost my 1K investment, which I already got back 15 times because I made 15K, right? So I think it's the safer way. That's my opinion. Can you explain which course is best in LOC for intermediate level trader? If you're intermediate, course 1 is already is good enough, right? And course 2 as well. I mean, both are good. But if you're intermediate, you should already be like know a lot of the concepts, right? Then the next step would be finding a mentor who can guide and iron out your mistakes, right? Can you look at ES? I don't feel like I don't want to look at indices. Like I don't think this asset is. I can't look at this asset and be highly confident. Right? I'm very good at majors, EU and GU. How did you meet MMXM? Story should be interesting. I mean, I don't know it's interesting necessarily, but he was one of my students back in 2022. For some time, and then I wasn't on social media at all, right? But after a while, he grew so big, right? And now we're working together, so that's that. And I learned a lot from MMXM as well, right? So I wouldn't consider him my mentor right now, or I'm his mentor right now. But back then in 2022, yeah, that's how we met. And again, I learned a lot from MMXM as well. He's a monster. He's a beast on the charts. But he can't, if he's listening, he cannot beat me on Forex, though. No. How's your dog doing? He's fine, man. Thank you for asking. Thank you. What do you think about the fact that ICT hasn't been able to show a profit in any tournament, even though he talks about taking first place every year? Moreover, he always ends up in big losses. Yeah, this is kind of this is the thing, right? I think MMXM tweeted this as well. A good mentor is somebody who can make unprofitable traders profitable. ICT has made so many unprofitable traders profitable that he's like the mentor of mentors, right? You don't necessarily have to be. You can be the best analyst, but you can still be a shit trader, right? And I have no opinion on if he made money or didn't make money in the market. I think he made a lot of money in the market. It can be any other way. Like, he has a really good understanding and we learn from him, right? So, but the only thing is, you put so much unnecessary pressure on yourself saying you're the number one in the world and I'm going to go into Robin's Cup or whatever and I'm going to beat everybody. I'm going to do 10,000% or whatever, right? You just put unnecessary pressure on yourself, right? That's why I wouldn't either publicly say, okay, I'm going to join the Robin's Cup and I'm going to beat everybody. I'm the best there is. Because I'm not claiming I'm the best there is. I'm a good trader. I make money trading. I make consistent profits. I turn unprofitable traders into profitable traders if they put in the work. That's so important as well, right? And I'm not claiming I'm the best trader in whatever space or whatever, right? So stay humble. That's very important. Stay humble. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Because increased pressure, yes, it makes diamonds, but 99% of the time it will crush a person, right? So it doesn't turn anybody into a diamond. The trade is cooking. Yes, sir. We are looking for a W, man. Come on. Been waiting all day. Takes its fucking sweet time. Takes 10 years. But that's what we are. We're day traders, so we have to wait. And I'm not a scalper, so like, listen, the perspective here is, right? My average trade duration is around 14 to 18 hours, right? And I entered here, which is 8 hours ago, 7, 8 hours ago. So I'm good, right? I don't I don't mind if it takes 8 or 10 hours or 15 hours before TP gets hit. Bro, how much you cook? I cook every day, brother. I don't let my wife cook. I cook myself because I just cook better, in my opinion, because I've been a professional chef for 10 years before I started trading. Right, so the first MMXM course you narrated has people fully believing you're MMXM. Yeah, I mean that was the thing in 2023 or 2024. I think 2023 it came out, right? I think so. But yeah, like every day I got the message. They are just joking. You're not. Why do you have an alt account, right? All that kind of stuff. No fucking way. Okay, let me know in the chat if you are also in GU. Obviously, earlier from the day, do a W in the chat if you also took GU today, right? So I can know if there's other people who took a winner chicken dinner on majors. We are flying up right now. I'm just gotta have my phone here for MT5, right? So I have to pay attention a little bit. Typically it's on my desktop, but I'm not at my PC where the MetaTrader is open. Ondresh also took a W. You took EU with MMXM? Yes, sir. I took also the EU trade MMXM sent in the Discord. Alex. TP just literally hit. Let's go. How to turn from break-even trader to consistently making profits? You need to journal. Very, very, very important. You need to journal. The only way to find your mistakes and your habits that's causing you to lose, that can be found in journaling. And 90% of the traders are too lazy to journal, unfortunately, but that's where a lot of information is coming from. We also hit target for EU. So all in all, this week is great. This was a W week for sure. The only setup I didn't send in my Discord this week was I sent in the draw on the highs when it was here, and but I didn't send in a POI per se, so that's the only trade I didn't send in this week. All the other trades have been sent in, sells into buys, and this is just a great week overall. Come on. Give me a clap. Just one big push above the high. I want just one. I'm probably gonna close. If it rejects the high, I'm just gonna close it as well. I'm not gonna wait for the last 5 pips. Just like the one on EU, which was on the lower end, where when it didn't take out the lows was kind of annoying, right? So don't want to get stuck in that for today. Yeah. The course you narrate for MMXM part 1 and 2, is it enough to be profitable? Yeah, for sure. You can be profitable with ICT's core content, that's why I'm profitable, because I studied that. I don't need any giveaway or money, I need your mentorship. Take me OTE. Do you guys prefer if I do that next week, Monday, personal one-on-one session giveaway, or the monetary one? Will be like, I'm gonna be greedy. I think I'm gonna do how much is a 10k? That's like $60 or $70. Let's do $70. It's either one-on-one or $70. Yes, I'm Dutch and I'm very greedy. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna send $100. That's how greedy I am. Yes, that's me. A greedy Dutchman. Watching your live is a W. Honestly, please do 1 time a week if you can. I mean, November is the time to shine. We'll do 2 a week. Be there every stream. If not, then watch it back because it's recorded. Looking good, baby. Come on. Few more pips. One. It's not picking it up, man. I don't know. It's not picking it up. Can I? We're almost there. But if it rejects here, I'm just gonna close it. I'm gonna be like that. One-on-one is the best. Okay. We'll do a one-on-one next week again. Okay, I'm gonna close now. It's over. It's been taken out. I still think the last 2-3 pips will it will push in there, but I'm fine with it. Who mentored you? Was it ICT? Yes, I learned everything from ICT's core content. Core content is the best stuff there is. All right, great stuff. For me, TP has been hit. I don't care for the last 2-3 pips that's over here. I think I'm gonna wrap it up for today as well. So today we did a weekly review. Let's get closer, right? Let's get closer. Where's my video? Ah, there it is. Okay, so we did Monday live stream, weekly prediction. See what we could get. We're gonna do the same thing next week. Next week we're gonna do the same thing. So make sure you're there. If you're, then you don't want to be profitable, I guess. Okay, so make sure you're there Monday. We'll do a giveaway again, one-on-one session. And yeah, I hope you guys like this live session. Look at GU again. Look. Oh Lord, we hit TP. Okay, anyway, guys, see you guys next week, Monday, 9 a.m. EST, and I wish you all a great weekend.